Hi guys, today's subtraction lesson is one that I save for the very last every year because it can be a bit of a bear. And I'm going to teach it to you in a couple of different ways. It's called subtracting across zero. And just like I do in class, if you feel like this after our two lessons, great. If you feel like this, I'm going to continue to review and teach. But if you feel like this, you can meet me at a hangout and we'll work together just like we would if you were coming to the carpet to join me. So let's get started, and really it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. All right, so today our goal is to learn to subtract across zero. Make sure that you have everything in front of you that you need, which is not this stuff. You need a pencil, you need paper, preferably in your math binder, so that you will have it when you come to our hangout. We're going to start with an exit slip question because I think that is the best way to get back into our routine. So here's your exit slip question, and you do not need to copy the question, but just write the answer. We're going to read the question together and make a plan, and then you can pause and you can solve. You'll just need to write three things. Eva has 3 bills of different values. The total value of the bills is $35. What bills does she have? Well, we need to understand, plan, solve, and check. So we need to understand what it's asking us. It's saying she has 3 bills. It's saying they are all different. And it's saying the total of the 3 is 35. So pause the video and answer. What bills does she have? And we will check together. All right, if you said the bills that she has are a $20 bill, a $10 bill, and a $5 bill, you are correct. 20, 30, 35. Good job. Now let's move on to the lesson. I started getting concerned that my students were at home and bored and didn't have enough to do. So I hired 3 of my students to come and work in my jelly bean business. I started a jelly bean business called Jennings Jellies. And I set up some workstations so that we could pack the jelly beans. And I hired some people. I hired Olivia because Olivia is very careful and counts carefully. So she's going to handle all of the loose jelly beans. I also hired Tarun. Tarun is also very careful in his counting, and so he's going to handle all the boxes of 10 jelly beans. And I hired Helen, because Helen's really good with big numbers, and Helen's going to handle all the bags of 100 jelly beans. And wasn't I clever to pick them each for their own particular station? What do you notice about their names? Right. So we began to get orders. At first, we didn't have a whole lot of jelly beans. All we had in our inventory, which is what you have available to sell, was 232 jelly beans. And we waited for our first buyer. And along came the buyer. And the buyer wanted 28. The buyer wanted 28 jelly beans. Everybody, let's write down what this problem is. They have 232 and they need to give the buyer 28. If they're giving them, we know that's subtraction. Let's all write the subtraction problem. 232 minus what the buyer wants, 28. Now you should have that problem written down in front of you so that you'll be able to work with it. We know when we do something in real life, we have to do it on paper. So Olivia's ready to fill the order. She's supposed to give the buyer 8 loose jelly beans. She doesn't have 8 loose jelly beans. So she turns to Tarun and says, Tarun, may I have a box of 10 jelly beans? And I need it to fill this order. So Tarun says, why? Certainly, because he is a generous person. And he gives her the box of 10 jelly beans, which she then dumps out, and she has 10 more loose jelly beans. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now, if we did it in real life, we have to do it on paper. So the first thing that happened was Tarun gave Olivia a box of 10. So he no longer has 30 jelly beans. He's down to 10, 20. He's got 20 jelly beans. We need to mark that. Everybody mark that. Olivia doesn't have 2 jelly beans anymore. She has 2 plus 10 from Tarun. So 2 plus 10, she has 12 jelly beans. Now she has plenty to fill the order. So she's going to give the buyer 8. So away go 8 of her jelly beans. And that's one of my pet facts. 12 minus 8, she's got 4. Tarun had 20, but the buyer wants 20. So Tarun packs the 20. 20 minus 20, he has no more jelly beans. And Helen's jelly beans are untouched. So she had 200 jelly beans. She did not pack any. We still have 200 jelly beans. So the order was filled. The buyer got the 28 jelly beans, and we had 204 left. Now another buyer came along. The next buyer wanted a tiny amount of jelly beans just to taste them and see if they're any good. So let's write a new problem. We've got 204 jelly beans in our inventory. So just somewhere else on that paper, write 204. And now we have this buyer who's coming in and simply wants to taste them to see if he's going to place a big order. And he wants to sample each one of our 8 flavors. So he wants for us to just put 8 in a little bag for him. So we've got 204. We're going to give away 8. Olivia does not have 8 jelly beans. So she turns to Tarun, which is what she always does, and says, Tarun, I can't fill this order for 8 jelly beans. May I please have one of your boxes of 10 jelly beans? Tarun says, I'm sorry. I just packed my last box of 10. So Tarun turns to Helen and says, Helen, may I have a box of 10 jelly beans? And Helen says, Tarun, you know all I have on my table is bags of 100, but I'll give you a bag of 100 because she's a very generous person. So Helen gives Tarun a bag of 100 jelly beans. If we did it in real life, we have to do it on paper. Helen gave away 100 jelly beans. Now she only has 100 left. Tarun used to have 0 jelly beans, but now how many 10s? How many boxes of 10 are inside that 100? Right, he's got 10 10s now. Fantastic, but it still doesn't help Olivia. Olivia needs to give the buyer, this is what the buyer wants, 8 jelly beans. So she says to Tarun, Tarun, do you have a box of 10 jelly beans now that I could have? And he says, well, yes, because Helen gave me 100. But let me package those up quickly. So he's very fast, super efficient. So he packs all his 100 jelly beans into boxes. Look at him go. He's amazing. He's so fast. And he has 3, 6, and 4 more. He has 100 jelly beans. So Olivia says to Tarun, Tarun, do you have 10 jelly beans from now? And Tarun says, yes, I just packed them up. He gives her a box of 10 jelly beans. So Tarun no longer has the 10 tens that Helen gave him. He has only 9 of those 10s left. 30, 60, 90. He gave 10 to Olivia, who dumps out the box so that she can fill the buyer's order. She no longer has 4 jelly beans. She has 4 plus Tarun's 10, 4 plus 10. She has 14 jelly beans. She gives the buyer 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. 14 minus 8, 6. 90 minus nothing is still 90. Sorry, is 90. And then 100 minus nothing is 100. So they have 196 jelly beans left. Remember, understand, plan, solve, check. We have to ask ourselves if this looks reasonable. If you had 204 and you gave away 8, is it reasonable that you would have 196? Yes. All right, so we're going to move on and think about what happened there when we had to cross that 0. We had to take the 100, break it into 10 tens, mark what we did, and before Tarun could give Olivia the 10, we passed that over. We had to mark what we did there. All right, this is the algorithm. Does not have to be this difficult. This could be solved on an open number line. Let's look at an open number line. The problem is 204 minus 8. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write 204. I can count back 8 if I want. I can do the takeaway method. 204, 203, 202, 201, 200, 2, 3, 4, 199, 198, 197, 196. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that matches the answer that we got. You could also do it, and I want you to do this. Do it on an open number line, but use the difference method. You're going to start on 8, and you've got to go to 204. Now, understand what we have to do. Go from 8 to 204. Make a plan. If you start jumping by tens to get from 8 to 204, how long is this going to take you? How long will we be here? You know what I'm going to say. We'll be here till the cows come home. So we want to solve accurately and quickly. And that's what we call solve efficiently. So if I'm trying to get to 8 to 204, it's likely that I would want to jump by 100. 8, 108. If I jump by 100 again, I'll have 208. That's too far. I can jump by tens. 108, 118, 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, 78, 88, 98, 198. Now I got to go to 204. 199, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204. 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we got the correct answer. The missing chunk between 8 and 198 was 196, which is what we got when we did it with the manipulatives, and which is what we got when we did it with the algorithm.